Hello, Legit KidLit viewers. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Alexis. We have a very awesome lineup for you all today.
Yes, we're so excited to welcome some amazing mighty middle grade authors today. Authors, please introduce yourself and describe your book in 5 words, but your challenge is you need to balance as many books on your head while you share. Celesta, you can start.
Okay. Well, I maybe made a mistake and I just brought copies of my book, so I don't have picture books to stack on my head. But here we go. Okay. So I am Celesta Rimington, and I'm going to talk about my book, Tips for Magicians. And so you want me to describe it in 5 words or less?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to stop there.
Oh, it looks great.
Tips for Magicians is about friends seek a magical wish.
That was perfect. Way to go. And that sounds beautiful. Thank you.
Laura?
Okay, I am going to follow in Celesta's footsteps. So I have Summer of Luck. I'm Laura Stegman, author of Summer of Luck. I have the old version of Summer of Luck, the original. And then I have a middle grade book I just read about B.F. Skinner. And
Oh, that's cool.
Summer of Luck is about magical carnival helps 3 kids.
Love it. And show us your good job. Show us your covers because you just got a new cover for Summer of Luck, right? A new design?
Right. The new edition came out in November, and I'm so excited about it. It has this really cool cover, and also it has a map of the summer camp, and it has here's the map.
Oh, I love a good map.
And every chapter has a cool heading that shows the piece of the carnival.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here, Celesta, let's get a close-up of your book, too. Can you hold that up again? Yeah. Oh, I love that cover, too. Look how pretty that is.
It features the desert formations in southern Utah near all of the national parks and things.
So cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. All right, is PJ next?
Okay, I'm up. So I am PJ Gardner, and this is not going to work because I put it on my head. So I'm going to have to do it like this. I'm PJ Gardner, and I wrote the Horace and Bullwinkle series. And I only have 2 books with me, so this is good because I have to keep my head down.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, stay. It's about, so it's a dog and a pig solving mysteries. They won't stay.
Wonderful job. I love it.
Oh my goodness.
So these are books 1 and 2. Horace and Bullwinkle. And then Horace and Bullwinkle, The Case of the Rascally Raccoon. And book 3 is behind me. You can see the image. It's Horace and Bullwinkle, The Case of the Fishy Fair.
Oh, they look so fun. All right, Sarah, the finale.
I feel like I'm cheating because I have picture books and I also have a really big head. So, we'll see. Okay.
Go.
So I am Sarah Allen, and I am the author of What Stars Are Made Of and Breathing Underwater. And What Stars Are Made Of, the 5 words are, you are made of stardust. And Breathing Underwater is 2 sisters, 1 long journey.
Yes.
One more.
Oh, she's still going. Nice. All right, let's get a close-up of your books.
Yeah. Here we go. Stars, and Breathing Underwater.
No, I love those
Cool.
covers too. Yes. All
It's nothing like a
right.
great cover.
I know.
All right, let's get to know our authors with a round of Would You Rather. So I guess we're just gonna everybody gets to go.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Coffee, hot or iced?
Are we just going in the
Just
same
yell
order?
it out. Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
yell it out.
I am not a coffee drinker. I don't like it. Shoot me, but I prefer warmer drinks. So hot tea or hot chocolate. Yeah, hot.
And I am not a coffee drinker either, but I love iced tea. Iced.
Oh.
All right.
I will drink coffee. I like coffee, and I like it both hot and iced.
I'm not a coffee drinker either, but
Oh my goodness.
I know. But at Starbucks, I love getting a vanilla bean frap with caramel drizzle, which is basically just a milkshake. So if I drink coffee, probably iced.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds yummy. All right. Would you rather sing every time you entered a room or danced every time you entered a room? So why don't we, raise your hand if you want to sing every time you enter a room.
I'm only one. Oh,
Celesta and Sarah. Celesta, you sing, right?
I do sing, and I like to sing to tease my family too. I'll just I do that. I'll just come in a room and I'll sing some sentence operatic just to be funny.
And Sarah, what would you sing?
Yeah, well, I feel like I bet Celeste and I already sing when we walk into a room.
That's great. So Laura and PJ, you would dance?
I'm a secret singer. I would sing really loud in the shower or the car, but
yeah,
other people, not so much. I would probably like twirl around like a Disney princess or something like that.
Oh yes, I love that.
It's like, I'll sing, but I'd much rather dance. And I would probably like shake my booty into a room.
Yes, that's awesome.
To embarrass everybody in the scenario.
All right, time travel to the past or to the future? So who wants to go to the past? Oh yeah, where would you go, Laura?
One of my favorite movies is Pollyanna, and I would love to go to a little New England town like that and go to the fair that they had, and the have some of that big chocolate cake and
That's cool.
America the Beautiful, like Haley Mills. That's my version of the Parent Trap, the old one.
Sarah, what about you? Where would you go?
I don't know. I don't know if I could pick one place, but I'm already so future minded, and I believe like what we do now changes the future. So I think if I like saw the future, it would just be depressing, and I'd be like, well, it's like it would be set in stone, and I'd be like, well, what can I do? But I don't know if that's actually the case. So I would want to like go to every single place in the past that I could, and like just like study and observe and like bring my notebook and write stories. I'd be like historical fiction writer ever. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
but yeah,
you would.
The future would be depressing, not because the future is gonna be depressing, but because then it would be like taking the like anticipation away, I think. So I would just choose anywhere in the past.
I like it. And Celesta, what about you?
That is so tricky. I love learning about the past, and there are so many different time periods I'm fascinated by. I love to watch historical fiction movies and read historical fiction. But there are a lot of things I'm interested in about the past that I wouldn't want to visit. So I'm trying to think. I think what I would want to do is visit places before they became the way we know them now, like pre-colonial America, before before, everybody started coming here. I would love to see what that looked like. And also very fascinated by the time period of the 1800s in lots of different places in the world. So probably we go there. Then I'd probably want to hurry back to my conveniences, right?
Right. And PJ, you
Go
would
say
go to
hi
the
to Jane
future?
Austen.
Yes.
Yes, that would be cool.
No, yeah, I do the future. I feel like unless you're a cishet white dude, the past is really fraught. So I would much rather go to the future, which may also be really fraught. But I wouldn't know until I got there. So
Yeah, that's a good point. And hopefully it's not disturbing or anything. Hopefully it's a great
not an
future.
apocalypse.
Right. Right.
All right. Would you rather, and you can raise your hand, deep space or deep sea? So we'll go with space. And the deep. Okay.
Oh.
Explain.
You're the outlier here.
You are.
I'll be honest, I'm afraid of sharks, and you can't see, what's behind you or beneath you in the water. I have a healthy fear. I don't know. I saw Jaws at a formative age. Messed me up in the ocean forever. Although I'm actually really terrified of space too. But of the two, I would at least I wouldn't know what I was getting into.
That's true. That's a good point.
I think I would agree with that. So anybody else want to explain why they would say deep sea?
I like animals. So it'd be cool to go see anglerfish and
Yeah.
all the really deep sea stuff. It's all glowy, and that would be so cool.
Yeah.
All that
They are cool.
bioluminescence.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Would you rather stay in a haunted house or a cemetery? So anybody want to stay in a haunted house?
Okay.
Yes. Sarah got a friend.
PJ and Sarah's going to go stay in the haunted house.
Because it's indoors. Both are spooky, but with one, you're warm, theoretically,
Yeah.
Oh, and see, I would much rather be in the cemetery because at least I'm outdoors and trees are my friends. So I would just, if something's going down, I would much rather have places to run to rather than be boxed in by walls.
I agree. I even though Summer of Luck is about a ghost, it's a very friendly ghost. There's no graveyards, but I like the idea of being outside, and I like the idea of being around departed souls. I find some comfort in that, actually.
interesting.
Has anyone
My book,
stayed?
The Elephant Girl also has a friendly departed spirit in it as well.
Ooh.
And Laura and I've talked about that. So I don't mind the idea of the spirits, but if it's like a zombie apocalypse situation, I want to be able to run and climb trees and all kinds of things.
I think I'm probably Disneyfying this scenario in my head too much. And so staying in a haunted house, I'm just imagining grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. That's what it would be. But
Yeah, that would be okay.
Yeah. So now that we've been a little bit silly, let's ask some serious questions. What are the important themes in your books? And are they connected to each other? So whoever would like to start, you can.
I'll start.
Okay.
So Summer of Luck is about three kids who are finding their way to self-acceptance with the help of a ghost who haunts a magical carnival. And the three kids are pretty solitary, and they learn to bond with each other when they meet at summer camp. And so friendship is a big theme in Summer of Luck. And then they meet this ghost who asks for their help to try to reunite his family, and in return he promises to help them find their voices, because each one of them struggles with talking in some fashion. Darby stutters, Justin's silent because he's overcome with grief from his father's passing, and Naz is just learning English. So the ghost takes them through his magical carnival adventures where they learn to, in real life settings, to deal with their problems and learn to accept themselves as they are. So self-acceptance is another important theme. And through that, each one of them in one way or another learns to understand their family members and have compassion. So compassion, self-acceptance, and friendship are the themes that readers will find in Summer of Luck.
I like that.
Should we just, how about we go down the line since.
Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
So Horace and Bunwinkle, it's found family, which is my number one favorite, I think, theme in middle grade. Not just writing, but reading. I love found family. But also talking about your feelings. Horace is a really stuffy, proper Boston Terrier. And so he doesn't really share. He doesn't like to talk about things like that. And he's very uncomfortable with crying. Like that's just right. And Bunwinkle's kind of a mess and she's all over the place. But like in each book, it's really important to me that there are character arcs in my stories. So each book kind of focuses on one of their journey, an emotional journey. And in book one, Horace is moved and he was a proud suburbanite and he does not like the country and he's not real happy to have a piglet for a sister. And while they're solving the mystery through the course of that, he comes to look at her as his sister, right? Their family. And he comes to love the homestead, the farm. And in book two, Bunwinkle has some, I would call it PTSD from some events that happen in book one. And so she's learning how to express those feelings. And in book three, Horace, a new man enters their human's life. And Horace is having to deal with being replaced as the man, so to speak, in his human's life. And so it's, I thought they would be things that kids could all, to a certain extent, relate to. And it would be a way of giving them maybe a vocabulary to talk about those things that was also kind of fun and silly too.
Awesome. Am I next? I'm not sure exactly what the order was. Okay, perfect. So while both of these books were a very different experience for me to write, they actually are both, when I think about it, dealing with very much the same thing. What Stars Are Made Of is about a girl with a genetic disorder whose older sister gets pregnant, and so she makes a deal with the universe so that her sister's baby will be healthy and perfect. And Breathing Underwater is about two sisters on a road trip, and the older sister struggles with depression, and so the younger sister on this road trip is setting up a treasure hunt to help her sister with depression. So both of them really deal with wanting to help and feeling helpless, just wanting desperately to do something and not knowing what you can do. What can a 12-year-old do when you're to make sure that her sister's baby is going to be happy, or that her older sister's depression is going to be okay? You really can't do anything. You're stuck. But finding a way to love and be supportive and finding kind of power within yourself despite those circumstances. So, and I don't know what it says that now the books that I'm working on are much more angry and much more like standing up for yourself despite what every single person around you says, and like owning yourself. And these are much more selfless and giving. And so I don't know what that says about like me and my own journey. But yeah, so for these two books, it's a lot about finding your power and finding ways to love and support when it feels like at first glance that there's really nothing you can do, finding what you can do.
Love that. All right, Celesta.
Sarah, I think what that says about you is that you contain multitudes and you have lots of ideas. I think that's all it says. You don't have to write the same stuff all the time. So both of my books, this is The Elephant Girl is my first book, and Tips for Magicians, my second. Both of these deal with found family. So in The Elephant Girl, Lexington Willow is found in a zoo after a big tornado, and she doesn't remember who she is. So she grows up in the zoo, and her family really becomes the people in her community, which is the zoo, the people who work at the zoo, who love her and take care of her. She lives there with the train engineer as her foster father in a house on the zoo property. So, and then in Tips for Magicians, there's also the element of family, found family, and community, because Harrison, the main character in Tips for Magicians, is dealing with the grief of losing his mom the previous year. And he goes to live in this art village with his Aunt Maggie. And in that art village, he meets artists, he makes friends with other kids that love to explore the outdoors. And the people in the town really embrace him. He meets a falconer and learns about falconry in the desert. And all of those things help him to not only deal with his grief, but also his journey of self-discovery and learning that family, can be who you're born with, but also who's around you that loves you and supports you. Both of these books tell stories of friendship, very strong friendship stories. There's a lot of nature in my books. We've got the elephant and the elephant's girl, and of course the other animals in the zoo. And in Tips for Magicians, we have a stray dog and a hawk that knows something about the magic in the story. And both of my books also address self-discovery. And there are fantastic storms in both of my books. I really like to write about nature. And so I just love writing storms. We've got thunderstorms in the desert and a tornado in The Elephant's Girl.
Very cool.
And Celesta, it just literally just now occurred to me that we both have birds of prey in.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, hey, yeah.
That's cool.
Is yours a falcon or is it a hawk?
It's a hawk.
It's a hawk.
That's so
Very
cool. So speaking of found family and friendships, how do you all know each other, and why is it so important to have a group of writers for friends?
Well, we all have answers for this, and I'm just going to start off. We all debuted in the same year in 2020, and we were part of a Facebook group that brought us together in that way. And then after my book, the first edition of Summer of Luck, as I mentioned, came out in 2020, but then my publisher closed down. So I was lucky enough to find a new publisher who gave us this version of Summer of Luck, which is the same text of the book, but in a very beautiful and different package. And writing is a solitary thing. And I always found on my journey to publication that connecting with other writers was the thing that helped me the most. And I thought, now 2 years into this, or almost 3, I want to connect with other authors we called it a co-marketing group, but it really has become so much more than that, because we have found friendship, we have found writing together. I'm going to let others talk a little bit more about that, but we have, I think together we're stronger, and we are a lot of different kinds of writers, but all middle grade and all debuted around the same time. And the groups turned out to be really a gold mine of support and other things for me.
I think
something. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go, Celesta.
Something that, and I echo everything that Laura said. Authors, when they get published, they find out, I'm not just a writer anymore. I also wear all these hats. I need to be tech savvy. I need to have a website. I need to reach out to teachers and librarians. I need to learn how to be a better public speaker if not already comfortable with that. I need to be a marketer. I need, there's all these different hats that we end up wearing. And as Laura said, writing is a solitary activity, but all of these other things, if we have friendships with other writers, other published authors, we can all share in each other's strengths, and the things that one person is really good at, they can share with others. And so in our co-marketing group, we'll have Zoom meetings once a month where each of us kind of take turns talking about something we've learned that we've become proficient at, that we think we can share and help the others with, if it's marketing or creating a press kit or doing school visits or, all these different things.
I also think that writers are a peculiar group of people, and middle grade authors in particular. We're just sort of unusual, like we're peculiar. And the only other writers I think really understand, in part, it's a very weird industry. traditional publishing is a very weird industry. And so like there's a real sense of, is this normal? And you're like, yeah, that's normal. Or no, that really isn't. Like there's that nice backup, but also it's kind of cool to be with a group of people where you can really be yourself and be that full weirdo that you are, and just know that that's where everybody is. Like it's a really supportive and loving community of unique people. I feel like we're the Muppets in a way, right? Like it's just that weird group, but together very, very successful.
And talk about our office hours.
Oh, okay. So every Saturday, I set up a Zoom call for 3 hours where we do office for 3 hours, and we call them office hours, but it's really just writing time. Or in the last couple of weeks, we've done a lot of brainstorming because that's like my favorite thing to do on earth. I love it more than writing, way more than writing, and definitely more than editing. So that it's a consistent time each week, because it gets harder and harder. I think it's weird. The more you are into your career, sometimes it's harder and harder to block time that's dedicated just for the creative process. And that's kind of what those hours are for. And then Sarah, you haven't had a chance to talk.
Yeah, I will also add that, yes to everything everyone said, and also, as was mentioned, we're the 2020 debut group, which I also think puts us in a really interesting place. And so I think we are helping each other navigate debuting in like the craziest time ever, and now helping each other. Like, it's interesting now that we're kind of on the other side of the pandemic. I have another book coming out this year, and I feel like in a lot of ways it's like my redo debut in some ways. It's a new genre, and I'm doing this having done it before, and so I feel like I know a little better now, and that's thanks to this group. Like the Mighty Middle Grade wouldn't exist without Laura. Like, Laura's so good at like bringing all of us together and like organizing it, and then PJ is like a brainstorming maniac. Like, I have had, like, just the last few weeks, I've had so many breakthroughs, and then every time I have to do a school visit, I'm like, Celesta, how do I do this again? So she's like the expert on school visits. And so like we're all helping each other with all these things that, like, selfishly I feel like I am able to accomplish a lot more just in my own career than I would without this support group. And hopefully, like, it's a case of, rising tide lifting all ships, that we can all help each other. And especially given that we're the 2020 debut group, that it's been extra vital to have that support from people who are in the world that we're trying to navigate and really understand. So it's crucial, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, and there's power in numbers, and even though each of us has our own websites, we have a mightymiddlegrade.com website where we're all featured there, and we have our Twitter account, Mighty MG Authors at Twitter. And really, we've been able to reach so many people through Twitter, especially, and through being able to connect like we are here today, and have the opportunity that Alexis and Tiffany, you've given us to talk and share our experience. So thank you.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I love it. I love all of what you all said. So we have, some homework for our viewers. Not really homework, but for those of you wanting a fun writing exercise, these are from our Mighty Middle Grade. Do one of you want to introduce this, or do you want me to read it?
Celesta, you
came up with it. You should do it.
Did you come up with it?
Did I write it? That's so funny. Okay, I can read it. Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. That's so funny. I don't even remember writing it. Okay, here we go. You wake up to find a ceramic garden gnome on your nightstand. Even stranger, there's something buzzing inside. Or is it whispering? What happens next?
Oh, I love that.
That's
so
awesome.
Our viewers, we would love you to share your ideas in the comments or on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you're finding us. And then I'm going to also do this tonight. This is going to be my writing exercise tonight. So I'm excited, and I'll share it. But it sounds very magical with the garden gnome. I like that.
I thought we were supposed to come up with some ideas, and I was like, yeah. I was like, I got some ideas.
PJ, what are some of your ideas?
Brainstorming queen, like I said.
Superpower, go.
Okay.
Go.
So my thought was, it kind of tied into a story I already have going, but it's inside, it's actually a shell, and inside is a goblin, and he has come from outside because he's chasing an elf that's trying to make trouble for the goblins. And so it's a helper elf that likes to clean things, because you know how in Grimm there's like two kinds of elves. There's like the bad elves, but then there's the helper elves, right? And they do the shoes. Well, these elves, they help you, but if they help you, you fall under their spell. And so the goblins are kind of messy and that, but they're, they let you have free will. So okay. Idea. Messy but free will. That's
See, and I'm currently reading The Honeys by, I think it's a young adult book, but it's by, yes, and I'm thinking right now it's full of bees and we're done. Like I'm done. Like that's where my brain went. Like I was like, oh no, there's buzzing.
I had one. My reaction was that I would go back to sleep and hope for a less scary dream.
Yes.
I'm imagining a tiny community that's like, the gnome is their mobile home, and they're all these that are trying to study, and kind of a being John Malkovich kind of thing, trying to study the human.
Oh, that's funny. I like that. Oh my goodness. Well, before we go, I'm just going to do a glimpse of your websites, and then are all of you able to, if a teacher wants a author visit, is this the best way to reach you, is through your website?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Please do.
So
can
here
be reached through our individual websites or through the Mighty Middle Grade author website.
Yes.
There's a school visits page, so either one.
Okay, so here is the Mighty Middle Grade Authors website, and yes, I see the button for school visits, and also you can see all of the other authors that debuted in that wonderful year of 2020. Now we have here is Celesta's website, absolutely beautiful. Also has a place to order books and author visits and resources. Sarah's website. This is so cute. I love all of your websites.
These are good.
These are so cute. And something I like to do to keep myself up to current to everything, here's PJ's, is to subscribe to a newsletter. So that is what I'll be doing today, is subscribing to all your newsletters. And I encourage everyone else. Oh, and Laura's is magical.
Oh, I love that, Laura.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us and sharing your creativity here on Legit KidLit.
Yeah, and to all of our readers, we hope you enjoy the show and are inspired to pick up all of their amazing books. We'll be back next weekend with some more KidLit fun.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.